Today I want to talk about the possibility of Eevee getting a new Eevee evolution in Generation 10. I get it, right? I get it. I totally get it. I totally get it. We talk about Eevee all the time. We're constantly expecting, as a community, we're expecting new Eeveelutions to show up. And the last time we got an Eevee evolution was Sylveon in Generation 6. That was, I guess, 3 generations ago. But we are on the we're on the precipice. We're on the horizon of Generation 10. This is the completely new game. And I think I figured this all out. I think we really will be getting a new Eevee evolution this time around. I figured it out. Taking a look at some of the information we got from the Terra Leak, the most important thing to me about what we can expect to see in the Generation 10 game, Pokemon Winds and Waves. All right, this is, I guess, for anyone out of the loop. We're expecting an open world game. It's like an island hopping adventure. That's the phrase that's been thrown around. And it sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds like a really big world with a lot of changing, variables. But the most important thing to me when we talk about Eevee getting a new evolution finally after so many years, the most important thing is that this game, I'm going to read this off of PokeEos right here. The presentation of this game focuses heavily on the idea of nature as a living system, built around the interaction between humans, Pokemon, and the environment. Core visual and thematic keywords include wind, wave, weather, ecosystems, exploration, and discovery. This is so cool to me, right? These are some of the images that were thrown around. This is like internally at Game Freak. And you can see all of these different biomes, right? And if you wanted to, you could very easily fit Eevee and its evolutions into all of these different categories, right? You've got fire. That's right. Very obviously, that's Flareon, right? You got Vaporeon with the waves. There's a jungle here. That's Leafeon, right? But there's also the clouds. That's kind of interesting. We haven't seen that before. And I guess what I want to say very obviously is that Eevee changes depending on its environment, right? The idea of this game focusing on humans, Pokemon, and the environment is literally what Pokemon, the series, is all about, right? And this Gen 10 game is going to be, right, it's the 30th year anniversary video game, right? It's supposed to celebrate and push Pokemon as a franchise forward, right? Refocus on what is still relevant to the brand and to the, as fans of Pokemon, like, they want to let us know what we should actually be paying attention to. And if that's what they're talking about, Pokemon, humans, environment, and how it changes us and how we can change the Pokemon, Eevee, just like in Generation 1, it's the poster child for this, right? Not Pikachu. Eevee can evolve depending on your decisions, right? Pokemon's an RPG. Your decisions matter. Your decisions will affect how this Pokemon, reaches its full potential. So, Generation 3, we got water, electric, and fire. Eeveelutions, that's how they introduced the whole concept. The very next generation, Generation 2, we got Espeon and Umbreon. That's pretty cool. They kind of work together in that way the two types interact with each other, right? Generation 4, 2 generations later, we got Leafeon and Glaceon, right? Ice beats grass. Also, those are very elemental, and it's nice to see those. Like, those just make sense in combination with Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon. In Generation 6, we got one new Eevee evolution, but we did get an evolution. This pattern of getting a new Eevee evolution every single 2 generations was broken. We got nothing with Sword and Shield. We did get, Eevee did actually get in Generation 8. And in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, if you want to count that, Eevee was a mascot of an entire video game. It was a starter, and then it got a Gigantamax form in Generation 8. I'm not really counting that, though, because it got other gimmicks as well. I'm not counting that. I think Generation 10, we are going to see Eevee get a new dragon type evolution. I'm sorry. I mean, I do think that the dragon type evolution would be for Pokemon Waves, because we already have a water type. And then I think we could get a flying type Eevee evolution for the Winds game, right? Those are two environments that we haven't seen before. At very least, I'm expecting to see a flying type Eevee evolution. I think the dragon type Eevee evolution could also work. I do think it could also work for Waves, right? I'm thinking about like a sea serpent, right? It's a dragon. It's a dragon. But this flying type Eevee evolution would be so cool for literally a Pokemon game that's going to be called Winds, right? Also because in Generation 7, a flying type Eevee evolution was cut. It was in development. They had been considering it, and they decided, they kind of put it on hold, and they said, I don't think we're gonna touch this right now. And this is when Generation 10 in Pokemon Winds and Waves, this is when we could finally see a new Eevee evolution. And I think the flying type is a really, really good candidate. I mean, if you take a look at these, right, these three images right here are, dude, honestly, I guess, you know what? I like the idea of a dragon type Eevee evolution, but I'm kind of convincing myself right now that it actually makes way more sense for us to just get one new Eevee evolution and have it be Winds, because I didn't think about it, but the Winds also interact with Waves, or could at least emphasize, the strength of a wave. Obviously, waves are caused by like gravity and currents and stuff. I don't really think waves are influenced by like winds that much. But okay, these three images right here, you can see weather patterns, you can see the waves, and it's just like flowing constant energy. It's boundless energy. And I think this is when we get a flying type Eevee evolution. I really do. Yeah, I really, really do. Let's take a look at Eevee and its most recent Dex entry in Scarlet version. Its ability to evolve into many forms allows it to adapt smoothly and perfectly to any environment. Yeah. Its genetic code is irregular. It may mutate if it is exposed to radiation from elemental stones. How would it evolve? Because I think a lot of the Eeveelutions evolve with, I think 5 of them evolve with stones. Could we see the Dawn, could the Dawn Stone create some sort of, I don't know. I wonder what they do. I wonder what they would do. Maybe if it learns like a flying type move and then evolves, or I don't know. I feel like often when I'm playing a video game, like Legends Arceus or something, Sylveon becomes the default evolution because it learns Charm, the fairy type move, and then I evolve it with high friendship, and it evolves into Sylveon every time. I always have to delete Charm. In Legend ZA, thanks to its unstable genetic makeup, this special Pokemon conceals many different possible evolutions. What we've seen in the past is right before a Pokemon gets announced, or right before a Pokemon gets a new evolution, a new form, the Dex entries leading up to that reveal or that new form are kind of hinting at what we're about to see. And it always makes sense retroactively. I mean, listen, these Dex entries are nothing new for Eevee, but I really, really think, especially because of the names Wind and Wave, that we're going to see a new flying type Eeveelution. My favorites, there's so many good ones. This one is by, I actually don't know who actually made this one, because I feel like it is just always shared around. But I'm not actually sure who made it. But there's so many cool flying type Eeveelutions that could happen with Wind. It could still be on, it could still be on all fours. I don't want to see it getting wings. I just want to see a bunch of clouds around its body. This one's really cool by Dame's Pokemon, where it kind of like its tail whooshes around its neck, kind of looking like a scarf, kind of looking like a tornado. I think that design's really, really clean there. There's so many cool ways to do an Eevee evolution with the flying type. I really hope we're going to see it. I really, really do. I think for me, I guess if I just got to get honest, like, it's not even that I love the Eevee evolutions that much, but the fact that I know it is possible in my heart that Eevee could get a new evolution for every single type, it makes me want it that much more. You know, that's like at the heart of what I love with speculation, right? Like, even in Generation 1 and 2, we imagined what other Eevee evolutions could exist. And we got more in Sinnoh. And we ended up getting, dude, it was mind-blowing when Sylveon was actually announced. So I came into this where I was going to kind of say we should get a Dragon-type Eevee evolution. But I've convinced myself it's just going to be a flying-type Eevee evolution in Generation 10. I actually think we could get a Dragon Eevee evolution in the Galar region if we end up getting a Pokemon Legends Galar, which is also rumored to be true and to be coming out. We'll have to wait and see. Let me know if you want me to do another video on the Dragon-type Eevee evolution in Pokemon Legends Galar. Yeah, subscribe if you're new. Thanks so much for watching.